Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Minnesota Bound podcast, the stories behind the stories. I'm Laura Schara, your host for today, and we have a really exciting topic on board for today's podcast. And before we get to the topic, it involves ice. I'll tell you that because we're in the middle of winter here. I want to thank a couple of our sponsors, Connecticut Water, Minnesota DNR, and Star Bank. All right, for those of you who enjoy outdoor activities, and of course, in Minnesota, it's never ending even when the snow flies in the winter. There are endless things to do in the outdoors. And one thing that I discovered actually last year was ice climbing. And believe it or not, there is an ice wall that you can climb in Minnesota. And I am happy to have the owner and guide of Hardwater Sports, Tony Vavricka, with me today to talk about ice climbing, where to do it. He gives tours, etc. Tony, thanks for being on the podcast today.
Yeah, thanks, Laura.
So fun to have you on because when I discovered there was an ice wall and you can climb ice in our state, first I was surprised that it's available. And second, I was really thinking that's for people who are extreme rock climbers that have a ton of experience. And when I chatted with you, that's not the case. Ice climbing really is for everybody. So what is ice climbing actually?
Yeah, it's similar to rock climbing, but what we do here in Sandstone is we flood the walls of an old quarry, and there's anywhere from 60 to 90 feet tall, the ice walls are. We hook up the ropes, so we make it nice and safe, and then we give people the chance to put on the ice climbing boots, put on the crampons, and use the ice axes to climb the side of the ice cliffs.
And exactly where is the ice wall? It's in Robinson Park, right?
Yeah, Robinson Park is a city park for the city of Sandstone, and it's right on the Kettle River. So we've got rock climbing and whitewater rafting in the summer, and then in the wintertime, the walls get flooded, and we turn it into a big ice park for people to climb.
And what's so cool about this ice park, not only is it stunningly beautiful, if you're an experienced climber, it's available to you to go out and utilize on your own. But the best part is your company, Tony, which again is Hardwater Sports, is that you offer tours. You have all the equipment, everything you need, and you take groups of people out to go climb the wall.
Yeah, if it's something you want to try and you don't have all the gear to get started, you can sign up for one of my guided ice climbing courses. It's a fully outfitted course, so we have all the boots and the crampons and all the axes. We put up all the ropes and give people a chance to try the sport on their own.
And you also provide the helmets. I'll say that because you definitely want one of those.
Exactly.
There might be some ice chunks coming down your way. And, my experience with ice climbing, I have now tried rock climbing and ice climbing, and I found ice climbing to be easier than rock climbing because of the equipment that you use. Can you kind of describe the equipment that's used that makes it a little bit, I would say, less challenging, or you feel a little bit more safe and secure when you're using the equipment?
Yeah, for people rock climbing and ice climbing, you can make it as hard as you want it to be. To get started ice climbing, we start people out on a wall that's not quite 90 degrees steep, like the one that we started you on. We have all the gear. We have the special ice climbing boots that are a little bit stiffer on the bottom, and then attached to those boots, there is a crampon, which is the kind of spiky things that have spikes coming out the toes and at the bottom of the boot. And then you also have ice axes in each hand, and then between the crampons and the ice axes, you crawl and climb your way up that ice wall.
And then you also are, people are harnessed in and you're belaying them up. So it's all, there's obviously added safety there. So you're not free climbing up the ice wall when it's your first time.
Exactly.
And then what is the age demographic of people that can try ice climbing? Is it for everybody?
It pretty much really is. There's routes that we can get beginners on and they can go out and have a great time and have some fun on. I've had people as young as 8 years old trying the sport, and I've had people in their 70s going up the ice wall, giving it a try. So it's definitely there for everybody. If you're a little bit more of a hardcore athlete, we can start you on those easy walls and then easily move up to something steeper and steeper and challenge you down there.
And do you think that one would need rock climbing experience to start off ice climbing at all?
No, not at all. It helps, but the course that I'm giving when I guide people, we're starting at the very, very basics. If you don't know the knots or how to put a harness on, we cover all that, and then we get into the basics of how to do the ice climbing.
It's so fun, and it really is so beautiful at the ice park. A lot of the
Yeah.
ice is really a stunning blue in parts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, and in fact, there's quite a few people that have taken this on as a hobby too. You don't realize that there's a lot of ice climbers out there. And there's even an ice climbing festival in normal years, non-COVID years. Is that correct?
Yep. Every winter now, and I think it's the 16th or 17th year in a row, or it would have been, that we'd have had an ice festival here in Sandstone. That festival's grown every year. Past years, we've had as many as 200 people show up to give the sport of ice climbing a try.
Amazing. And I have a couple of questions on your tours coming up here, but before we get to that, I want to chat with you quick about drinking water. And I am a picky drinking water person. I want to make sure that my water is clear of contaminants, removes chlorine, and of course it also tastes great. And to do that, I use Kinetico. I have the reverse osmosis drinking water system, and I have to tell you, I love it. I've had it for years. It uses less, make sure that I use less plastic water bottles, which of course we know is great for the environment. And you won't regret it. My parents have it. We had it at our cabin. We love Kinetico drinking water. And for more information, visit Kinetico.com to find a dealer near you. So Tony, back to your tours and ice climbing tours. How long do your tours run for? Do you start in December? Does it run all the way through February, March?
Yeah, Laura. The ice climbing kind of starts when we have weather that's cold enough for the ice to be formed up. And generally that's mid-December. And usually by Christmas every year, we're doing the ice climbing classes and ice climbing events. And that runs through February, and again, depends on the weather. Sometimes we can run it all the way through March also. But definitely we have ice here in Sandstone second half of December, all of January, and all of February.
Very cool. And if you are an experienced climber and you've done some ice climbing and you want to go out to Sandstone or Robinson Park on your own, do you need a permit to climb there?
No, it's an open public park, a city park, and we actually, being here in town, a member, local person in Sandstone, we encourage everybody to come out and see the park and enjoy the park and use the park.
And I would recommend, even if you don't want to climb the ice wall, and just to visit the ice wall and to see how beautiful it is, and that we actually have something so amazing in our state, is worth the trip. Even if you have kids, to see an ice wall, it really feels like you're looking at a Hollywood movie set, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a really beautiful park. And right now in Sandstone, we have some deep, fresh snow, so everything's got this all beautiful white look to it with the ice walls coming down. And from Robinson Park, you can hike into Banning State Park. There's hikes to Wolf Creek Falls, and you can hike down to Big Spring Falls. So if you're not an ice climber, there's still a lot to do here in Sandstone.
And is the ice wall in Sandstone the only one in the state of Minnesota, or do you know of other ice walls that are around?
So Sandstone is the original ice park here in Minnesota. We started farming, I believe it was in 2004. We rented a pump and started pumping some of the water and making that first ice in Sandstone. Ever since then, they've been expanding and improving on that structure for making ice. But I also know Winona, in years past, has had an ice park. And I think if the temperature gets cold enough, they'll have that going again. And then Duluth is also planning to put an ice park in.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what would you say is what draws people into wanting to climb ice?
Well, I'm sure it's different for everybody. A lot of people just want something to do in the middle of winter to get them outside. A lot of people have picked up rock climbing in the last 10, 20 years here in Minnesota. and they just don't want to stop once the weather gets cold. So they've taken on ice climbing.
Yeah, and when I had a chance to try it, it's a good workout. You're using upper body strength as well as lower body strength, because you not only have to kick your toe into the ice wall with the clamp-ons that are on your shoes or your boots, but also with the ice axe. You're hammering that into a big ice chunk for security to, kind of move you up the wall. So it's a good workout. You do feel really safe when you're, even as you get up into higher elevation. You may not want to look down, but I did feel secure going up the ice wall. And I posted pictures on social media. People were like, "That is wild. I can't believe you tried that." And I encourage people to definitely give it a try, and especially with your tour, because obviously with your experience and the equipment that you provide, and it really is a easy activity to sample, if you will, to see if you really want to get into it on your own, going through your guide service, which again is Hard Water Sports, is the way to go. And you also offer some other really fun tours throughout the year. Do you want to mention what those are?
Yes, we do the ice climbing through the winter months. In the springtime, we switch it over to rock climbing. We do outdoor rock climbing lessons here in Sandstone. And then come about May, we add our whitewater rafting tours. So we do tours right down the Kettle River, right through Banning State Park. We go through Dragon's Tooth and Hell's Gate Rapids and all the fun ones. And that's pretty much the biggest part of my company, is that whitewater rafting side of it.
And I had a chance to try that out this summer too, which is a blast. And what class rapids is that on the Kettle River during certain times?
Yeah, so the river goes up and down with the rain, but it's rated a class 3. There's 4 class 3 rapids and 2 class 2 rapids on the section that we do, going from Banning State Park down to the city of Sandstone.
It's beautiful. I have to say, the Kettle River is one of the most beautiful rivers I have seen in the state of Minnesota. It's stunning. Yeah,
and it's only an hour north of Minneapolis, so it's very accessible to a lot of people.
Exactly. And that's the same spot where you go ice climbing, and it's so close to the Twin Cities. It's just a really easy activity to try out, and I highly, highly recommend it. And before we let the audience know where they can find you, Tony, I just want to thank another one of our sponsors, the Minnesota DNR. And as we know, Minnesota's wildlife management area are a vast array of lands across all of Minnesota, and there are approximately 1,400 wildlife management areas that are valued for wildlife in Minnesota's outdoor recreation opportunities. So speaking of recreation, to find out more about Minnesota's wildlife management areas, you can go to mndnr.gov/WMAS. And we also want to thank Star Bank.
Hi there, Ron Schara here for Star Bank. If you're putting your money into mega banks down the street, who knows where that money's being used? Bank locally. Keep your money local with a community bank that actually cares about you, your family, your business, and your goals. Check out the bank we use at Minnesota Bound. Try Minnesota's own Star Bank. You can find them online at starbank.net. When you call Star Bank, you actually hear a real living person answering the phone. Star Bank has 10 convenient locations around Minnesota to serve you and all the mobile banking products that you need to manage your money. Check out all that Star Bank has to offer at starbank.net.
So, Tony, if someone's interested in giving ice climbing a try, where can they find you?
Yep, we have a website, hardwatersports.com. There's information on that website about the ice climbing. They can definitely also just call us directly. We have a number here, 651-302-1774. Call direct, and we can give you information about the ice climbing, tell you what days are available, and how to get all set up with the sport.
I love it. Have you been pretty busy this winter?
We have. You know, we get a big rush right around the Christmas holiday when people are off for that week or home for the holidays. And it's been staying busy, so good. We've got some beautiful ice in the park, and we've got another 2 months of great climbing ahead of us.
That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that you're still able to get people outside and enjoy nature, with COVID and everything else,
Yep.
it's a great activity to do outdoors. And that's what we, of course, encourage people to do, is spend more time outside. And this
Yes.
is a wonderful way to try something new and super unique. And the pictures you get from climbing are spectacular, yes?
Yes, most definitely. Everybody needs adventure in their life, Laura. Everybody needs that recreation and well-being, and we're just a part of that and helping to provide that for people.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Tony, for joining us today. And get out there and climb some ice in the winter. It is a really good time, and you're going to feel like you accomplished something pretty fantastic when you get to the top.
Nice. Hey, thanks, Laura. Happy New Year to you also.
Yeah, same to you. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in today to the Minnesota Bound podcast, the stories behind the stories. Also, special thanks to our sponsors, Connecticut Water, Minnesota DNR, and Star Bank.